Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you see here, we are about to be ranking the doll lines that we talked about last time in Bratz Rhythm and Style. I'm going to be ranking them by two different categories, faithfulness to the dolls and game execution. We have our categories over here. We have our S tier, which is We're the Girls with a Passion for Fashion. We have our A tier, which is Give It Some Gratitude. We have our B tier, which is Turn Up the Heat. We have our C tier, which is Let 'Em Go Barefoot. Our D tier, which is Like Whatever, and our F tier, which is Mother of Pink. And so right now I'm going to be talking about Cool Bratz, which is the first edition dolls. Overall, faithfulness to the dolls, and unfortunately I did kind of compare them in my brain to Flaunt Your Fashions versions of the first edition. The colors are more accurate with like Chloe's headband, and because you can dye them, you can make them more accurate to the dolls. Just regardless, the colors on Chloe's skirts more accurate. We have the stripe detailing on Jade's pants. You have the addition of the cat. You have Sasha's skirt, which looks very much like hers. You do have, unfortunately, Jade and Yasmin's pants looking more like sweatpants than anything. But overall, I would say the faithfulness to the dolls are in A tier, Give It Some Gratitude. However, when you talk about game execution, like I said, Jade and Yasmin's pants look like sweatpants, and because they don't look like they're textured in any way, Chloe's don't look like denim. Jade's, I can't see them as anything else but sweatpants, would be bumped down to a B, Turn Up the Heat, for game execution, putting it at a low A, which means anything that is A or high A would automatically go in front of Cool Bratz. Beach Party, I wasn't too thrilled with last time I talked about it because of the colors and stuff. Finally, Chloe's just outfit was in this game and it was so much more accurate than it was in Flaunt Your Fashion. However, you also have Jade's tops where you could possibly feasibly dye them to be closer to, well, her bathing suit top closer to what the doll form is, but her regular top that she shares with Yasmin, the color blocking is a little bit off. The skirt that Yasmin and Sasha have are pretty accurate. You can make it just a little bit darker. I wish it had more of the thread detailing, but overall faithfulness to the dolls, just based off of half of it being pretty accurate, I would give it a C, Let 'Em Go Barefoot. And in terms of game execution, the only one that I really like, I like 3 of the 5 items, which, is technically more than half, but also half is still a failing grade. So I would keep Beach Party at C, Let 'Em Go Barefoot. Express It, honestly, kind of knocked it out of the park with the ombres and the detailing, and just the picks that they chose for this line was really crazy. There are some things that are a brighter color than the doll part is, but again, Megan's top looks so good. Her dress, it has all this threading on it that you can clearly see in the doll. And then Yasmin's outfit, the skirt looks really nice. And then just the inclusion of Chloe's skirt with that skirt paneling, and then even just that top, which was such a random thing to throw in and I never would have thought of that. Very impressive. So overall faithfulness to the dolls for Express It, I would give in A, Give It Some Gratitude. In terms of game execution, however, they're not my favorite. I do like Yasmin's outfit. It's a personal thing that I don't really like buttons, so Megan's dress is not for me. I think the zipper, I know it's super big on the doll, but I think the zipper's too big in the game. There's not any textures. Megan's dress doesn't look to be textured of any kind. Chloe's skirt, you do kind of have some denim texture to it. The pants do not. And then Yasmin's has a pattern on the skirt instead of it being sparkly. So in terms of game execution, I would put Express It in a B, Turn Up the Heat, which leaves it at a low A, Give It Some Gratitude. Formal Funk left a lot to be desired, which is really bad because I liked it so much in Rhythm and Style. However, I liked it so much in Flaunt Your Fashion. However, in Rhythm and Style, it does not carry the same weight. The only thing that is even remotely the same are kind of the colors and then the pant applique. You can tell that that's what's it's supposed to be because Never is wearing it, and obviously that's like one of Never's iconic dolls. I don't know why she couldn't have worn something else because we have other iconic Never dolls, but it's okay. I digress. But in terms of faithfulness to the dolls, I have to give it a B, turn up the heat. And then in terms of game execution, this top just looks way worse in this game than it does in Flaunt Your Fashion. I don't know what it is about it. It's too shiny. It's not, I guess, colorful enough. Like, I know that it's supposed to be like a black top with a butterfly on it, but I wish that the butterfly was like colored a little bit more. I guess it's cool that now that I'm looking at it, it definitely has that top on there because it's the same mesh as the Forever Diamonds pants. However, I wish it didn't have that on there. And so because of that, I'm going to leave it at a B, turn up the heat. Now we have the Hayden Williams Collector, which it looks really good. It's not quite as textured in the game as obviously it's denim on the doll, but it has the same amount of little like brads in it for the corset. It is like that still folded over neckline off the shoulder. It's the same color. It's just missing that chain. So in faithfulness to the dolls, it's getting an A, which would put it above Cool Bratz and give it some gratitude. But in terms of game execution, it's very plain. I think the corset needs to be bigger just to like match the same vibes as the doll. The doll just looks so much more put together than it does in the game because it's kind of missing the cuffs. Again, the corset needs to be bigger. It needs to be textured. So I would put it at a B, turn up the heat for that, which puts it at a low A, give it some gratitude. Okay, now we're going to be talking about Play Sports, which Play Sports really surprised me. Overall, this is the most accurate that we've had. And I don't know, it's the most accurate that we've had. Like, you can definitely tell that that's supposed to be Soccer Yasmin. You can tell that that's supposed to be race car driver Katya. After some digging, you could tell that that's supposed to be motocross Jade and that that's supposed to be rock climbing Sasha. So honestly, faithfulness to the dolls, this Play Sports line would get an S tier. We're the girls with passion for fashion. However, you're not going to like what I have to say about game execution. It's a t-shirt. Yasmin's is a t-shirt. It's really hard to mess up a t-shirt. Jade's, I know that the doll is still not quite as detailed, and I think maybe they're supposed to look like kneecaps. I don't like knee pads. I don't know. They seem very flat, and you only have like Katya's jacket and not even like pants. The only full outfit is really Yasmin's soccer outfit, which the skirt, and this is me kind of being a little bit nitpicky, but it looks so flat compared to the doll versions, obviously because it's a game instead of like an actual doll, but as accurate as they are, they're kind of ugly. So I would put them in D like whatever, which puts them at a C, let them go barefoot, because I cannot bring myself to put it any higher. Now we have World Families, which faithfulness to the doll, she's eating. Like, genuinely, she's eating. So, I mean, if you really get down into the nitpicky parts, her buckle is supposed to be bigger in her shirt and it's supposed to be gold, and then her houndstooth is supposed to be smaller. But other than that, she's pretty accurate. So I would give her an A tier, give it some gratitude. In terms of game execution, I want my stuff to wear this. Like, I want Chloe to wear this outfit. I think it would be so cute. It would be such a fun thing to do to make her look like her sister. It's very often Office Siren, and it's just adorable, and I love it. So I'm going to keep it at A, give it some gratitude. Next, we have twins Roxy, which you can tell that that's what that's supposed to be because Roxy's wearing it. However, the colors of the top are off. It's definitely like a navy and like a berry red instead of like a true fire engine red and black like it is in the doll. And then she's missing some of those like paint detailing on her pants, but she does have like the bleach splotches and the mesh parts, and they're like the same on the same leg and the same stuff. So that's good. The belt is probably because they had some like limitations, so I can forgive that. So faithfulness to the doll, I would put in B, turn up the heat. And in terms of game execution, I really hate to say this, but it's kind of boring. Like, I'm glad that Roxy is in her twins outfit instead of in Rock Angels, but I feel like there's more that they could have done with it to make it a little bit more interesting. I don't know. There's just something about her top that it's lacking in the game for me. So I'm going to keep it at a B, turn up the heat. Moving on to Pretty and Punk. Looking at game execution, looking at doll accuracy, they're pretty accurate except for Jade's skirt, but you can dye it to be pink. And so that's really what keeps me from ranking it super low, is you can dye it to be pink. Obviously, Yasmin's top is not really quite as accurate as I would hope it would be. Sasha's pants are different in Rhythm and Style than they are in Flaunt Your Fashion. In Flaunt Your Fashion, it had like that little decal on it, and it does not in Rhythm and Style. And also her second outfit top looks really nice, and it has some extra details on it. So faithfulness to the dolls, I'm going to say A, right underneath World Families. Give it some gratitude. And then in terms of game execution, these look better in this game almost than they do in Flaunt Your Fashion, except for Sasha's pants. I like them better in Flaunt Your Fashion, even if they're not doll accurate, but they look pretty good in this game. So I'm going to keep it as an A overall because of game execution. So I'm going to keep it and give it some gratitude. Next we have Treasures, specifically Treasures Roxy. This one knocks it out of the park in terms of faithfulness to the dolls. It is extremely accurate. There's only like little itty bitty things like the sleeves. And honestly, I think I can overlook that and say this faithfulness is the most faithful that we've had. And it's S tier worthy girls with passion for fashion, which is crazy because it's one top, Treasures. And in terms of game execution, it's actually really cute. I like it. It's hard to mess up a t-shirt. And it's not super plain and boring like the other ones were. And it doesn't look flat. So I'm going to keep it at S tier overall for game execution and overall for We're the Girls with Passion for Fashion. Next is Style It Jade. And there are some things about it that are really accurate. I mean, you have like the fraying, you have like the silhouette is very similar. You have like the buttons, those are the same. You can kind of you can dye it to make it more doll accurate, but I feel like the top underneath is not quite as accurate, and I would like it to just be the same color as it is the first time. So in terms of faithfulness to the dolls, I'm going to give Style It a B, turn up the heat. And then in terms of game execution, it's fine. It's cute, I guess, but it's not really anything special. I feel like it's just one of those, just like, it's fine, you know? That's really all that I can say about it, is it's fine. So in terms of game execution, I would also keep it in a B, turn up the heat, which means its overall rating is a B, turn up the heat. In Rock Angels, there are only two outfits really to talk about, Chloe's top and then Roxy's top overall. And in terms of game execution, these look so much better and more doll accurate than Flaunt Your Fashion does. There are some discrepancies, like Roxy's belt and then on the side is not fraying. It's like sequin looking things. And she's missing the Rock Angels part on her undershirt, but her jacket is very accurate. And then Chloe's jacket, where it has like the red inside, which is the same as her doll, and then it does have Rock Angels on there with the roses. So in terms of faithfulness to the dolls, Rock Angels is going to get a B, turn up the heat. And then in terms of game execution, they're kind of boring. Like Chloe's jacket is a little bit boring. Harley's outfit that she wears, which is Roxy's. I mean, you can definitely tell that that's what that's supposed to be, but it's just a little bit boring. And maybe it's because I've seen Rock Angels so much between 3 of the games, and just, I know it's iconic, but I feel like it's starting to get overhyped. I don't know, but I think I would rank game execution as a B, turn up the heat, which means it's staying at a B overall of turn up the heat. Now, Campfire, we only have 2 things again. Chloe's green skirt and then Dana's dress. I was really surprised to see that Dana's dress had the same amount of like detail button bradding things on it that the actual doll did. It's more tan in the game than it is on the doll. The doll is a little bit more yellow and the buttons are lower. It's supposed to be like right at her ribs, and I feel like it starts at the waist in the dress. Chloe's skirt is pretty accurate though. So in terms of faithfulness to the dolls, I would give Campfire a B, turn up the heat. And then in terms of game execution, this is the same skirt that we've already seen in Flaunt Your Fashion. And then the dress, I mean, it's very doll accurate. It just, without that over shrug, it's really boring. I I feel like sometimes individual pieces don't work quite as well on their own as they do with a whole cohesive outfit. So that's why some of it just is okay. But in terms of game execution, I would leave it in B, turn up the heat. So overall, that would be a B, turn up the heat for Campfire. Now, Holiday 3rd Edition Chloe is going to shock the heck out of people because I have the same opinions about this as I do about treasures in this game. It is extremely doll accurate. You have the fur of the neckline, which is like very voluminous. You have the fur on the sleeves. You have the fur trim of the boots and the skirt. And the only thing that's really different is the lack of textures, which the whole entire game has. And then like the little belt thing. But I got half a mind to put Holiday faithfulness to the dolls in We're the Girls with Passion for Fashion. And in terms of game execution, this is an adorable outfit. Like, I was not expecting to see it in the game, but it is so cute, and I can't help but leave it in S tier We're the Girls with Passion for Fashion to make that its overall ranking of S tier We're the Girls with Passion for Fashion. Next is Wintertime Wonderland Wave 1, and these look really cute. I like that they're sweaters. I like the coziness of that. I like that they're all turtlenecks. The only things about it are like the patterns, like Chloe's pattern in the game, it's very shoulder to shoulder instead of across the boobs. Dana's stripes are more saturated than they are in the doll. Sasha's green sweater with the snowflake is very spot on. And then her stripes on her sweater are in a different order. So like that's kind of being a little bit nitpicky, but Wintertime Wonderland is going to get an A in terms of faithfulness to the dolls. And then in terms of game execution, I wish that they looked a little bit more like sweaters. It's probably hard to get like that wool cashmere type look to it. So maybe that's why, but again, with the texture thing. So overall game execution, I'm going to leave it in A, give it some gratitude, which is its final ranking of A, give it some gratitude. Next is Slumber Party. And in terms of game execution, they're pretty accurate. Like some of them have extra detailing. Like on the tank tops, like Chloe's, Jade's, and Megan's, you are missing that detailing in Sasha's, and there are a few color discrepancies between that. I'm not going to complain about the shorts being longer. I'm glad that they are. And then Yasmin's is just a little bit darker, so is Chloe's than the original doll. So overall faithfulness, I'm going to put at an A right under Wintertime Wonderland, give it some gratitude. And in terms of game execution, I like this line. I think it's really cute. Yasmin's obviously is my favorite. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because she's my favorite doll, but I like that whole outfit. I think it's adorable. I like that they chose it. I was a little surprised. I wasn't expecting it. But it's really cute. And honestly, depending on what you wear it with, it's pretty wearable just in the game. So I would keep it at an A, give it some gratitude for its overall ranking of A, give it some gratitude. Next is Always Bratz, which Chloe's is pretty accurate. So is Sasha's. Yasmin's is less accurate than those two, but you can definitely tell that that's what that's supposed to be. The skirt is missing a lot of the details that the doll has, but the top is pretty detailed. There's some parts of it, like the corset stitching that it needs. Jade's leaves a lot to be desired. I am really disappointed with how it looks like it's a flannel over some weird like sweater vest type thing instead of in the doll where she looks like really awesome, and it is a sweater over a like high collared button up, and then it's like a long plaid coat. So in terms of faithfulness to the dolls, I'm going to give Always Bratz a B, turn up the heat right under Campfire. In terms of game execution, I wish that Chloe's was more denim. I mean, I really like Sasha's top. It looks really nice. I also like Yasmin's top. It's really nice. And then obviously I wore like Jade's bottoms and stuff. I still can't get over that top. I don't really like it. Even though I did wear Sasha's pants, they don't look that great. They just look like cargo pants, where in her doll form, they're not quite cargo pants. Chloe's dress, or top and bottom, I mean, it's cute. It's cute. I wish it had a little bit more detail. So in terms of game execution, I would also put it in B, Turn Up the Heat, which is its final ranking of B, Turn Up the Heat. Pampered Pups Salon Style. Ooh, gross. I don't know what more I can say about it other than bad. Faithfulness to the dolls. If you really know your dolls, then you can definitely tell that that's what this is supposed to be. The overmesh of the skirt, maybe if I would have worn them outside of the dressing room, it would have looked different, but it's not there. The colors are not quite there. Just faithfulness is a D, like whatever. And then game execution, they look bad. Like the bodies of them, because this is supposed to be like a very high-rise skirt, very like baby doll looking, like style, baby doll style. And the bodies are too long in the game, and it throws it off and it looks bad. So game execution, I would also say D, like whatever, which is its final ranking of D, like whatever. Next is Hollywood Style, which really hurts my heart, because overall faithfulness to the dolls, you can tell that that's what that's supposed to be, but like I said, it looks like it tastes like Ariel's mermaid tail from back in the early 2000s of that plasticness. And I know it's supposed to be satin, but it doesn't look like it. And I can't rank it any higher than a C for Let 'Em Go Barefoot. In terms of game execution, it looks bad. It really looks bad, and it hurts my heart because this is probably my favorite Hollywood outfit. Obviously, it is my favorite Hollywood outfit. I talk about it a lot, but it's so bad. It's not designed well. So in terms of game execution, it would be a D, like whatever, which puts it at a low C overall. Let 'Em Go Barefoot. Now the Forever Diamonds pants, honestly, there's not much to say about them other than they look good. They just look like sequins instead of diamonds, which, like I said, I don't know how to model diamonds in a video game as opposed to how they did it. But they're really accurate. The designs are super accurate except for Sheridan and Yasmin's, but those are like nitpicky things. Sheridan has like a thin stripe and then a thick stripe instead of a thin, thick. And then Yasmin's circle starts on her thigh instead of on her knee. So it makes it like wider and more spread out. So overall faithfulness to the dolls, Forever Diamonds is going to get an A right underneath Slumber Party of Give It Some Gratitude. And then in terms of game execution, I like that they try to incorporate the diamond belts, but they do look like sequins and the denim doesn't look like denim. But other than that, I'm not mad at it. So I would keep it at an A, Give It Some Gratitude. Girls' Night Out, it's only the 3 dresses, and I'm really offended by Jade's, like extremely offended. I don't know why they decided to make it pure green. I'm sure you could probably dye it, but it's missing that paneling. Yasmin looks so much better in this game than it did in Flaunt Your Fashion. It's more doll accurate. Sasha's is still doll accurate. So in terms of faithfulness to the dolls, I cannot excuse Jade's little travesty that she's got on. So I would give it a B, Turn Up the Heat. But in terms of game execution, I mean, I still like how they're shaped, and Sasha's and Yasmin's, they're really pulling through. And they look so good. And so in terms of game execution, I would give it an A, Give It Some Gratitude, which puts Girls' Night Out at a high B, Turn Up the Heat. Funk Out Wave 1 Yasmin. It's pretty accurate. It's missing like where your boobs sit. They're missing that detail in the dress. But I mean, it's really cute. It's got like that little ruffle thing at the bottom. It's got like the orange flowers that's everywhere, even though they're supposed to be like a pinkish coral and a red color, but you can definitely tell that that's what that's supposed to be. So Funk Out would get a Turn Up the Heat, an A, Give It Some Gratitude. And in terms of game execution, I mean, it's fine. It's really cute. I liked putting my girls in it. It looked adorable. It's a little plain, but it's not quite as plain as other dresses that we have seen. So I would keep it in an A, Give It Some Gratitude. Sweethearts Pajama Party Wave 1. I love this outfit. The only thing that's really lacking is the colors. Like the colors, put it in an A, Give It Some Gratitude for game execution, because it's not quite as, for once, saturated or vibrant or bright as the doll is. But in terms of game execution, love. I would put it in an S tier where the girls with a passion for fashion in a heartbeat. But because I gave it an A, for the first one, it would be a high A, Give It Some Gratitude now for its final ranking. Ooh La La Kumi. This is the most faithful that we've had other than Treasures and Holiday. The colors are spot on. The details are spot on. Even the minute details. I mean, I'm even going to forgive the hat because I'm so impressed with how this looks. Like, I would give it an S tier. We're the girls with a passion for fashion. However, in terms of game execution, it doesn't look like a tweed skirt. I don't know what that pink stuff, it doesn't look lacy enough for me. And I don't like the colors. I cannot get over how much I don't like the colors. And so that would be a B, Turn Up the Heat, which puts it at an A overall of Give It Some Gratitude. And our final one is Blind Date Nevra, which, I mean, it looks pretty accurate. The top though, you're missing out on the blue of the pattern, and it's just not there. I mean, and I don't know, it's probably recycled from Flaunt Your Fashion because it's the same jacket that Yasmin wears in Girls Night Out for her second outfit. But in terms of faithfulness, I think I would give it a B, Turn Up the Heat. And then in terms of game execution, it's fine. It's fine. I wish the top was a little bit larger so then you could like see the application. It's just a boring jacket. It really doesn't have much to do at all, which would put it in C, Let 'Em Go Barefoot, for its final ranking of a low B, Turn Up the Heat. So this is our final tier list ranking. In our S tier, we're the girls with the passion for fashion. We have Treasures and Holiday. In our A tier, Give It Some Gratitude, we have Sweet Dreams, World Families, Pretty and Punk, Wintertime Wonderland, Slumber Party, Diamonds, Funk Out, Ooh La La, Cool Bratz First Edition, Express It, and the Hayden Williams Collector. In our B tier, Turn Up the Heat, we have Girls Night Out, Formal Funk Nevra, Twins Roxy, Style It, Rock Angels, Campfire, Always Bratz, and Blind Date Nevra. And then in Let 'Em Go Barefoot, we have Beach Party, Play Sports, which is just lumped together as all of them, and Hollywood. And then in our D tier, Like Whatever, we have Pampered Pup Salon Style. Okay, so now that we have ranked all of them, these are over here in the order that I just ranked them. And first we have Treasures. Second, we have Holiday. Third, we have Sweet Dreams. Fourth, we have World Families. Fifth, we have Pretty and Punk. Sixth, we have Wintertime Wonderland. Seventh, we have Slumber Party. Eighth, we have Diamonds. Ninth, we have Funk Out. 10th, we have Ooh La La. 11th, we have Cool Bratz. 12th, we have Express It. 13th, we have the Hayden Williams Collector Dolls. 14th, we have Girls Night Out. 15th, we have Formal Funk. 16th, we have Twins. 17th, we have Style It. 18th, we have Rock Angels. 19th, we have Campfire. 20th, we have Always Bratz. 21st, we have Blind Date. 22nd, we have Beach Party. 23rd, we have Play Sports. 24th, we have Hollywood. And 25th, we have Pampered Pups. So our first one is actually going to be between our number 16, Twins, and our number 17, Style It. And the winner of that is going to be Twins. And I'm going to go down this one first because this 25 lines is the most that we have had in a Bratz game so far. We don't know if we're getting more Bratz games, but this is the most that we've had. So this was a hard bracket to go. And that's why it looks so small and hard. In 9th place, we have Funk Out versus our number 24, Hollywood. And I couldn't make myself not choose it. So I picked Hollywood because that dress it carries it more than the Funk Out clothes that we have in this game. So now we have number 8, Diamonds versus number 25, Pampered Pups. And, you know, even if this was in PS2 graphics, I think my decision would still be the same. And it's going to be Diamonds because those pants are unbeat, let me tell you. So now we have our number 13, Hayden Williams Collector versus our number 20, Always Bratz. And this might shock you, considering how much I love the collector dolls. But I picked the Always Bratz because, I don't know, I think I like how they look in the game. And I'm glad that they included the new stuff. I think that's awesome. And our number 12, Express It, versus our number 21, Blind Date. Probably not really that hard to figure out which one I'm going to pick. But I did choose Express It. I did. So now we're going to go down here, and our number 15 with our number 18 is Formal Funk versus Rock Angels. And this one was a little hard because the Rock Angels looked better in this game, and the Formal Funk looked worse in this game comparatively to Flaunt Your Fashion, which I did talk about them again because it's a different, it's the same publishers, but they're different developers. But I did pick Rock Angels. Surprise, surprise. Number 10, Ooh La La versus number 23, Play Sports. We know how I feel about the Ooh La La in PS2, and we know how I feel about Ooh La La in the doll form. So this may or may not come as a surprise to you, but I picked Ooh La La because the Play Sports in this game just, it was not it. Like, I'm sorry, Soccer Yasmin. It was not it. I'm sorry. So number 14, Girls Night Out, and number 19, Campfire. This one probably may not surprise you based on the same skirt that we have in Campfire, but we also still have Jade's same dress again. But what saved it for me picking Girls Night Out was Yasmin's dress. So now we have our number 11, Cool Bratz, versus our number 22, Beach Party. And this, I don't know if this will surprise any of you or not, because the Beach Party in this game was better than last game, but the Cool Bratz in this game was worse than last game. So I picked Beach Party. Beach Party once again is coming in clutch. So now we're going to this second round, and our number 1 is Treasures versus Twins. And I know that it's one thing from Treasures, which is really weird on why I decided to rank this, because it was too hard, because there were so many like just one pieces that were in this game instead of like lines, which is why I was like, I don't know that I can leave them out. But I did pick Twins. I wish we would have had an option for Phoebe's stuff, but it's okay. I understand Roxy's more iconic. And then number 4, World Families versus Always Bratz. This might surprise you. This is going to surprise you, actually, because I chose World Families. I don't know what it is about Sonia's outfit, but it is so chic. Like, there's something about business wear that I really like. And it looks like something that you would wear to the office. And it's so cute, and it's pink. I like pink, okay? Pink is gonna come out on top every time. So now we have Express It versus our number 5, Pretty and Punk. I was really not very happy with what they did to Jade's skirt. However, I did pick Pretty and Punk because you can dye it. So I guess I can't be too upset because of the stuff that you can dye in the game, which is why I was very, I guess, lenient on some of the things that I said were wrong with, the game. So number 2, Holiday versus Rock Angels. I don't know if this will surprise anyone because I chose Holiday. For as iconic as Rock Angels is, I'm getting a little tired of seeing it in video games. I think it's been overdone in the Bratz. I think it's been less iconic and more infamous because there are other lines that we can pull from. And I'm glad that they reached into some other ones, but especially like Holiday. Holiday was one that I was not expecting to see. Neither was Wintertime Wonderland, just based on the fact that we hadn't seen them before. And so because I liked how Holiday was, I mean, it looked really cute, and it was new, so I picked it. So now we have Ooh La La versus number 7, Slumber Party. And I don't know if this will shock anybody, considering I don't like the doll colors of Ooh La La. I picked Slumber Party. I'm sorry, I think they're super cute in the game. They kind of look like pajamas, but they look so cute and comfortable, and I love cute and comfortable, and so I picked Slumber Party. Number 3, Sweet Dreams versus Girls Night Out. You know how I feel about Felicia's Sweet Dreams outfit. It's literally one of my favorite dolls of all time, and so I picked Sweet Dreams, even over Girls Night Out, because even Yasmin's dress can't, save over Felicia's dress, so Sweet Dreams it is. And Beach Party versus number 6, Wintertime Wonderland. 2 very different seasons, 2 very different styles. But I picked Wintertime Wonderland because I like those sweaters. I think they're so pretty. Like, I just love them so much. I love them. I love them. I love them. So now we have the winner between Hollywood and Diamonds, which is going to be, and this was hard. This was so hard because Hollywood and Diamonds are 2 of my favorite lines from the PS2 game of Forever Diamonds, and it's so unfair to see one of them go. But unfortunately, I did pick Diamonds because I think the pants in this game look so much better than the dress. And even though that's one of my favorite Hollywood like doll dresses like that red dress that Katya has is gorgeous, the pants just looked so much better in this game. So Diamonds it is. And based off of Twins and Diamonds, this may not surprise anybody, but I picked Diamonds because, hello, it's Forever Diamonds. Like, I don't know. I'm getting tired of Rock Angels, but I'm not getting tired of Forever Diamonds. Make that make sense. And between World Families and Pretty and Punk, this one was also hard because I was like pink versus technically not pink, but I could dye it. But I did pick Pretty and Punk because I think the dyeing feature really saves how I felt about that skirt being purple instead of pink, because you can dye it and make it pink. So between Holiday and Slumber Party, two very cozy type things, it really just came down to like aesthetics and wearability whenever I was ranking these, but I picked Slumber Party. Mostly because of Yasmin's outfit. I think it's so pretty. I'm not really a huge purple fan, but like there's something about that one that just has grown on me. And then the fact that, I don't know, Slumber Party's just not been used in, I guess, really anything. Like Holiday hasn't either, but Slumber Party I think was cuter. And then between Sweet Dreams and Wintertime Wonderland, is this even a question? It's gonna be Sweet Dreams on the way. I mean, it's Felicia's Sweet Dreams dress. That is the best Sweet Dreams outfit that we have. It's one of the best dolls that they have ever. I need to talk about my favorite dolls sometime, because Sweet Dreams Felicia is up there. Diamonds versus Pretty and Punk. You know, if we were talking about on PS2, I think I would have a harder time choosing this, but I chose Diamonds because they look the most like how they're supposed to rather than Pretty and Punk. And there's something about, I don't know, there's something about Pretty and Punk in this game that wasn't, like, I'm surprised it got this far, because it wasn't as good as Pretty and Punk in past games. And then between Summer Party and Sweet Dreams, I mean, technically there are two pajama lines, which is really funny, but it's obviously going to be Sweet Dreams. And then between Sweet Dreams and Diamonds, even in the PS2, this would be undisputed. I would pick Sweet Dreams every time. So Sweet Dreams is the best line, and it's one dress. It's Felicia's one dress, and I can't even wear it without buying the fashion pack that Felicia comes in, which sucks, but it's okay. But Sweet Dreams is the best line. The one dress carried it all the way through and made it the best from Bratz Rhythm and Style, which shows you how not great the fashions actually truly were in this game. So now that we have ranked all of the fashion lines from Rhythm and Style and Flaunt Your Fashion and all the PS2 games, I want to hear your, thoughts about all of it. Which game did it best? We've already ranked all of the fashion lines across all the PS2 games and pitted the best 4 or best 8 against each other and found out which PS2 game had the best Bratz fashions. I don't think I'm going to do that with Flaunt Your Fashion and Rhythm and Style, just because they look more different than the PS2 games did from each other. But I am going to leave this here and say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time, where I have a new video based on one of your comments that's going to be coming out real soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.